I was here back when Earth was young and dinosaurs flew around. My wife was my classmate, and every now and then when she talked about being at RPI, our daughters used to say, "Mom, did you go to school in the Middle Ages?" Anyways, so that's about RPI back in those days. I'm a member of Delaware Valley Radio Association, Whiskey 2 Sierra Zulu, close call sign to yours, and I'm the events director. So why do you want to become a CW operator? That's the next page. First one is because you want to. It's fun. It makes you different, makes you elite, like not a lot of people do it. I did the New Jersey QSO party. I did 200 QSOs for 44,000 points on Saturday, CW. So it's it's kind of a fun thing to do. By the way, given that you have a noisy environment, when you put the narrowband filter on, then we just tried it. The noise level goes way down. So a couple of things that are really important. A lot of people just don't think about that, especially back when I first learned CW in the 80s when I first got my license. Kind of the state of CW learning technology was terrible. But so how much thinking do you do when you say, let's go have an ice cream cone? Not much. Or how much thinking do you do when you say x plus x equals 2x? That's just intuitive. You don't think about it. But if you had to do it in another language, English is my second language. When I got to RPI, I barely spoke English. It's a lot of work. So you got to be thinking about it all the time. Or if you had to do Maxwell's equations in integral form, for all the E guys here, I'll tell you guys my story about Maxwell's equations while he's in integral form one of these days. So what you want to do is you want to learn. The reason we speak and listen to each other and do x plus x equals 2x is because we don't do it consciously. The subconscious is doing all the work, because the conscious mind can't work that fast. So if you want to do CW fast, you got to get it to be in the subconscious. And the way you get it to be in the subconscious is by practicing it. So that's kind of the point one. Point two is that, just go back to ice cream. You don't say ICECREAM. You just say ice cream, and you recognize it as a sound and as a concept. So any of you guys who are musical will have an easy time learning CW, because you got to treat it like music and sound, not like if you count dits and das, you'll never get any good at it. So just learn the sound. So where to start? So here's a few resources. Next page. I recommend Morse Code Ninja. Kurt Zogelman is a great guy, I have a recipe how to use his website to learn CW, and I'll talk about that. And if you want to take a course, CW Academy, it's free. It's a good one, and so is Long Island. Long Island CW Club, that's a good one too. I just don't have any experience with them. I'm a member of CW Ops Club, so I know about them. And if you're interested as a speaker, somebody like Joe Spencer, he's one of their instructors. He'd be glad to kind of be your speaker at some club event, and I'll be glad to introduce you guys if you're interested. He's a good guy, a retired Navy guy, and he lives in Texas, and he does all his training over Zoom. The CW Ops classes, if you want night classes, he's the guy, and there are day classes too, and the day classes have a lot of Europeans and Asians in it, because it's a more convenient time for everybody. Night classes are mostly us Americans, because that's kind of not convenient for anybody else. Let's see, and they kind of expect you to put in about 30 minutes a day practicing, and that's about all you want to do. If you do a lot more than that, I don't think you get any out of it, because as your mind gets tired, practicing isn't really helping you any. It's just wasting your time. So just a little next slide. I'm going to tell you about Farnsworth method, And there's another method called the Koch method. It's kind of similar, but I'll go through that. And there, I have a reference here to a QEX magazine. I don't know, any of you guys read QEX magazine?
I wrote for it.
What's that?
I wrote for it.
Okay, you wrote for it. All right. It's the experimenters version of ARRL magazine. And that's the article. Again, if you're interested, I can dump it on. If you're going to write your own code, I'll talk about that in a minute. It's a good one to have. So a dit, like a dot, is 1 unit, and I'll tell you in a second where the units come from. A dot or a dash is 3 units, and the spacing between dots and dashes inside of a letter are 1 unit. Between letters in a word are 3 units, and between words are 7 units. Now, a unit is 1.2 divided by the speed. So if you want to send 10 words per minute, it's 1.2 divided by 10. So I want to know where that formula comes from. The standard is based on the word Paris. Why did anybody pick the word Paris? I couldn't tell you. But Paris is actually 50 units. So if you want to send Paris in 1 minute, you send each dot at 1.2 seconds. So if you want to send it at 10 words per minute, it's 120 milliseconds, so on and so forth. So that's the formula. And now what the Farnsworth method does is at speeds below a certain speed, say n words per minute, 18 words per minute, you put your dots and dashes at 18 words a minute, and then you pad in between the space. And the reason for that is as you get faster and faster, you don't want to be relearning the sound of all of these dots and dashes. So you want to be learning the patterns. So that's where the Farnsworth method was developed. So if you're sending at 18 words a minute, if your dots and dashes are at 18 words a minute, but you want to copy at 5 words a minute, you call that a 518. And I recommend you guys start at 1520. If you want to start. Now, here, this is what a 1520 sounds like. This is just, I think it's letters, A through H. Okay, so that's what a 1520 CW sounds like. There you go. All right. Next slide. So you got to think about some goals. What do you want to do? You want to do canned QSOs. Canned QSOs, a lot of people look down on them, but I kind of think it's a good place to get started. And it kind of goes like this. Your RST is 599. My name is Saied. QTH is New Jersey. Rig is a 10 Tech Omni D, whatever. Weather is whatever. It's cooling, whatever. So, and you can have lots of QSOs like that, and you can do it at slow speed. So it's a place to get started. And don't let anybody look down on it. I mean, I do it. There's some guys, like this guy in Italy, Mauro, I1, whatever, I can't think of his log. He's in my logbook like 50 times. And all he does is Mauro, I've talked to you about 1,000 times. I don't need to hear the same thing. So you could do contesting. That's more going to be, and here's like a canned QSO. I think it goes like this. RST is 5NN. Operator here is Saied. QTH is in New Jersey. That's it. So as you notice, it's kind of not hard. By the way, don't ever write things down, because if you're writing and typing, it kind of is the enemy, because we don't write, we have a conversation, right? I gotta admit, like when I do contesting and there's numbers involved, I can't keep 5 digits in my head, so I write down the numbers. You also probably have to write down call signs because like it's not like a word that you remember, it's somebody's call sign. So those are the kinds of things to write down. But so like on a field day, contesting, you can think about field day, QSO parties, they're kind of nice and easy. Nobody goes too fast, everybody's friendly. 20, 22, 25, 28. I did New Jersey QSO party at 28. So, any of those speeds work. So you could set their goal on that. You can go for more difficult stuff like CW Open or CQWPX. That one, if you copy wrong, you get points subtracted. So that's kind of like that's a harder one because now you get there's a penalty for getting wrong. Rag chew, 15 to 20 words a minute. If it's like rag chewing is talking about anything that's interesting. There's this guy in North Carolina, he and I talk about all kinds of crazy stuff. Just whatever, it's late at night, can't think of anything else to do, get on the air, he's on, have a conversation. And slower than 15 words a minute, it's kind of hard, it takes a long time to say anything, and faster than 22 words a minute, you won't find anybody to talk to. Because there's not a lot of people who can rag chew faster than 22. So, nice, easy, 20 words a minute. You can talk about whatever. But you guys are in school, you can't be rag chewing late at night. It's like a different story. You're a tired guy. Worked all states, DXCC, you can go after certificates. I need 4 more states CW to get work all states CW. You could go on, by the way, here's on the air practice, you could do SST. K1 USN is a US Navy station in Boston. It's slow speed test. You're not allowed to go faster than 22. It's a simple exchange, so you could do that. Medium speed test, I've never done that. It's a little faster. And then there's CWT. I do CWT all the time. This is what CWT sounds like. This is DE, AD2CC, Saied, 3547, which is my CWT number. No, that's not it. Oh, he doesn't want to cooperate. Hey.
It's too fast to speak on the audible range.
Anyway, that's 30 words. What's that?
Just muscle memory at this point.
Computer generated and decoded.
At that point, we're just sending digital data.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that. So should you use software for sending? Certainly you could use N1MM or, there's a whole bunch of other loggers that send. Or you can write your own. If you look at my Station Master software on GitHub, it's got sending. You can configure a contest and put all the function keys and then just send with function keys. I've only done that once. I try to avoid it. On the other hand, I did CW Open 12 hours sending by hand. Then you have to sleep for 12 hours. It's kind of tiring. And should you use software for copying? But if you do that, then what's the point? Might as well do FTA. I mean, okay, what's the difference? Anyways, at least my sense is, no sense of learning CW if all you're going to do is send with a computer and copy with a computer. So what do you need in the way of equipment? You need some kind of a practice oscillator, keyer. So clearly your radio upstairs has a keyer built into it, so you can use that. I think you can turn off the QSK.
G90 you can.
Yeah, and then use it as a practice oscillator, so you got one. My practice oscillator, I just built it out of Arduino Uno R4. Anything will do. The new Raspberry Pi Pico I hear has got like a blazing fast computer, and a bunch of guys at our radio club were talking about it. And then, or you can just get a 555 oscillator with a pot and use an app like GG Morse to calibrate it. And then you got yourself with a little piezoelectric device that you get from Amazon or whatever. So, so practice oscillators are easy to do. You can have a key single or dual lever. I recommend single lever. I don't like dual lever keys. And I recommend you don't use a straight key or use a bug. I don't even talk to anybody who I hear is using a bug. You can always tell when you hear somebody. A bug is a mechanical device. Before we had electronic keyers, it generates dots by a spring and a weight. It's an oscillating mechanical device, and then the dashes are produced by just holding it. So it's got a very distinct sound, and it's annoying as all hell. So I just like it. It's a bug. I don't talk to people who operate bugs. Consider a QRP radio. I hear you guys do QRP kit builds. Ben Cahill, KC2YK. He's an RPI grad. He's a member of our club. Only thing he does is CW QRP. You've talked to Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
Also,
here for the kit building
yeah.
session.
What's that?
I should grab him here for the kit building session.
Yeah. So think about, if that's what you want to do, because there's a bunch of really nice QRP radios out there. Let's see, what are the guys called? The Four-State QRP Club or somebody. They have a nice QRP rig. One of these days I'll build one. And wire antennas. Wire antennas work great. I didn't write this down, and you're recording this, but don't get me in trouble. You can always hang a wire antenna between some dorm windows.
That's pretty much what we're doing with the show.
Yeah.
You didn't hear me say that.
Get on the air as soon as you can. Don't worry about being bad. And everyone understands it and will help you. As I was building up my speed, all kinds of people helped me out. Like on a contest, if somebody says 73 at the end, that they're telling you, yeah, I know you're trying to learn how to do this, and good luck. So people are pretty nice. If someone is unhelpful, just pass them by. There's just some bunch of obesers out there that are terrible. Like in CW Ops, you got to do at least 25 words a minute QSOs to get admitted. And there are some old guys in the club that go look at your RBN record and see how much QSOs you have at 25 words a minute and whatnot. But, most of us don't care. As long as a bunch of people say, yeah, this guy's pretty good. That's good enough. So here's a self-paced study plan. Go to Morse Code Ninja and just start with single letters at 15 words a minute. And then add punctuations. And I'll tell you which punctuations in 1 second. In practice, practice sending. And for practicing sending, I put a page on Discord. It's a warm-up. So I kind of use that before I do anything else to warm up. And then there's some practice in there. And only learn the punctuations that are on that page. Everything else, you need commas, because like you say, I live in Cranberry Common, New Jersey. You need slash, because I'm operating in Florida, I'm AD2CC/4, and then period, and that's kind of, and then, there's a whole bunch of CW, like BT is, I'm thinking, I don't know what to send now, or SK is there's no more, so there's a few things like that, but they're all on that page. And then successively add longer words and faster speeds, and more QSO slangs. There's a lot of QSO slangs. So good is GUD, for is FER, good morning is GM, some obvious stuff. Your is UR, whatever. And then there's CUAGN, see you again. So just there's, again, Morse Code Ninja, Kurt Zogelman has all of that stuff. And then keep your goal in mind. If your goal is to do standard QSOs, you don't have to be any faster than 20 or 22 words a minute, maybe not even that. And it's, for you guys being young, it's kind of not that hard to get there. I mean, I got my license, when I first got my license, I guess I was like in my late 20s or whatever. And I don't know, it took me, maybe a month to get to 20 words a minute. So it's not that hard. And today's techniques, especially with the stuff I just showed you, is a lot easier. But the one thing that is really important, learn how to send with good rhythm and clean timing. There are a lot of guys out there that you don't know when a letter stops and when a word stops, and like all it is just like a jumble of dits and das, and you don't know what the words are, because there's supposed to be some spaces between words, and there's supposed to be some spaces between characters in a letter, and there's no spacing. So learn how to send clean timing and rhythm. One of the things you'll discover is that there are some guys that send real fast and you can easily copy it, and the reason is because they're really good in their timing. They're really clean. If you want to do self-pace, do 2 15-minute sessions a day. Yeah.
When you say copy, do you mean listening or writing?
No, not writing. Yeah, you want to get, but the problem with writing and typing is you can't do it fast enough. I mean, when we're having a conversation, now, when you're doing a contest, chances are pretty good that your fingers are on the keyboard for the logger, because you're trying to not waste any time. But for rag chews, you definitely don't want to write anything down. And in general, you'll just do a better job of developing your mental ability by not writing things down. As I told you, I can't remember numbers, so I write down numbers, and I write down call signs. I don't write down RSTs because they're always whatever, 559 or 579 or whatever. 599. I send 599s to everybody. Sad? So that's kind of, that is the, if you want to learn Morse code, that's the way to do it. And let's just go to Morse Code Ninja for a second. And
Would that be the end of recording, or you still have something to share?
no, I think you can stop recording, and anyway you could play with this. So here's where you start. This is letters at 15 words a minute.
F. R. H.